tax that you're paying to government.
South Africa records one of the highest rates globally of inequality and poverty, with the working class and middle class facing high taxation. Citizen Cam took to the streets to ask South Africans whether the wealthy should be taxed and how a wealth tax can be imposed in the country.
For me, the issue of tax, I feel like we are actually overtaxed, and I don't think it's managed properly, because especially rich guys can get away with it, and some of us really, especially the lower class or the middle class, I feel like we're overcharged. I think they need to review how they really taxing us, and perhaps maybe rich people should be taxed more instead of like the middle class and the lower class, because it's more like they're making you even more poor from the lower class instead of trying to encourage you to do better financially and all that.
I think it's unfair from a perspective of the public, because I mean, just for instance, take a look on the sidewalk here. This is supposed to be the millionaire strip, and it looks like a dog's backside. I mean, we're paying tax through our ears, and we're not getting anything done. We're not receiving anything. I mean, look at our infrastructure, look at our public healthcare clinics, and it's just not, no. I mean, if you don't pay your taxes, you will obviously get indicted and they'll be on you like white on rice. And it's just not fair.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the tax, we're paying a lot of tax as citizens, but also there isn't enough spread of that tax in terms of how it's allocated. But I feel that in terms of alleviation with that, it would be nice if the rich paid more in terms of tax, so that we actually have that tax working for the people and not having tax paid but not seeing the things that it should be covering for society.
So it's actually sad as a young person growing up in South Africa, knowing that the tax rate is really high. You know, we struggle already to make ends meet in terms of like our standard of living, because it's actually high. And then the tax part, like tax is ridiculously high. And I think that maybe if everyone could be taxed fairly, especially coming to the wealthy people, I don't think the tax, they pay enough tax. I think also with the corruption rate in the country, it also affects how we get taxed, because we can see our money is not being used for the right things. There's still a high unemployment rate. Corruption is on a high. There's still homeless people on the street. People are still struggling to pay tuition fees. Bursaries are not being approved. And you ask yourself, why is this happening? Where else people are still paying a high rate of tax? On that note, is like I'm taking it as like that's unfair, because they are trying to make moves, they are trying to make money in a different way. Some influencers don't have standard jobs, like, you know, so that is like a hustle for them as well. And them being taxed, I just think it's totally unfair.
You know, with our high unemployment rate, and I think that's affecting the tax payments in this country, because we're not paying enough taxes. Our municipalities are falling, our infrastructure is falling. So I think if we can create more jobs and help maintain our infrastructure and so forth. And then, what with regards to tax paying, look, I'm not quite sure why those taxes are being increased and for what, but we don't see any changes, so it's really a concern. Well, I won't say rich people should be taxed more. I feel that everybody should be treated the same way and equally, but at the end of the day, we need to build our infrastructure. So if it means that higher taxes should be paid, then I think that's what should be done.